And kind of go in here at the bottom.
Hell yeah, Leap is back on the table and it's stronger than ever. It's not just Leap though, it's a combined build, making it a Leap, Gushing Wounds, Earthquake, Bleed, Dust Devil build, or just LGWBDDB. You're a literal god of the elements, and I've been using it to speedrun tier 100 pits for materials with ease. And while it's lacking a bit in the single target department, it still dishes out up to 100 million bleed ticks regardless, actually making it a viable pushing build if you're into that stuff. It's also possible to double this damage quite easily just with some better gear. And yes, this footage is obviously before the pit got nerfed to the shitter, but there's also one additional thing that makes the build amazing. It's fucking fun, man. So let's talk about how the build works, and first we have Leap. Blizz introduced a bunch of ways to reduce the cooldown of this skill in Season 4, basically allowing you to spam it without cooldown regardless of gear. You can in fact get the cooldown so damn low that you just keep spamming it, even if you're missing all of your leaps. It's just that easy. The cooldown reduction is capped at 75% on gear. But on top of that, you can get a bunch of skills ranks in Leap, reducing the cooldown further, along with the Giant Strides aspect and the Bear Clans aspect, making the cooldown go from 16 seconds down to 4. But when it comes to Leap, the damage is shit, right? False. And that's when Dust Devils and Bleeding comes in. Whenever you leap, you'll gain up to 100 Fury depending on your resource generation, which shoots 4 Dust Devils out of your bumhole every time via Devilish Aspect. Just having this combination already makes for a decent build, but we can, of course, do better. And that's where Bleeding comes in. By utilizing the Gushing Wound key passive along with stacking a fuck-ton of crit, our skills actually deal damage now. So where does the bleeding come from then? Well, that's easy. Berserk Ripping is making all of our tornadoes deal bleed damage. And now, my friends, you have what is this amazing build. If we take a quick look at my skills here, you'll probably recognize most of the skills. But what the hell is that skill to the right? Well, that's Kick. But that skill is absolute fucking dog though, right? Nah, my man. By combining it with Wrath of the Berserker, all we need to do to get the full damage bonus from it is to drop kick some newbies in the nutsack. Not only that though, it also provides us with vulnerable on bosses along with some decent damage, which is lovely. Alright, that's the basics. Let's head straight on over to the gear and aspects now. So you can copy-paste and start blasting my man. First things first, if you want the run, the bleed variant of this build, then you need to get the Granddaddy. This is due to it doubling our crit damage, which is a must-have for bleed. For the normal variant, however, you don't need shit. You'll find that variant in the planner, so first I have the Shaco here. I try to masterwork resource or cooldown reduction. We then have this beautiful piece. You're going to need 1 resistance roll along with 1 all resistance roll. For this build, I recommend using these on chest and pants. Don't forget the undying aspect either, because else you'll fucking die al Mao. It's our only source of healing, making it insanely important. For masterworking, I'd try to hit strength for big damn or imposing presence for massive survivability. And then we have this lovely pair, in case you're wondering why I'm rolling crowd control duration everywhere. That is for our challenging shout. Unless Blizz sneakily changed that, but they're probably too busy drinking titty milk to give a shit. Anyhow, try to focus on getting as much crit chance as possible and temper crit damage on your rogue ult, because Barb's doesn't have that temper unfortunately. For aspect, grab the fierce winds to make your tornadoes bigger, because bigger cool and bigger more damn. And as pants, we have this piece of shit. You do, however, need 1 max resistance and armor roll here to get capped out. The Bull Kathos aspect is absolutely mandatory for this build to work, as this is how we spawn earthquakes, As boots, you'll be looking for these. Considering no one is playing this build, you should easily be able to snatch a pair of Greater Affix Leap boots on Crimson Market, for example, unless I become famous and the prices skyrocket, obviously. On top of that, you can grab Leap cooldown here along with concussion ranks. And what the hell is that? Well, damn my man, it grants a lucky hit chance to stun. And considering Leap has an insanely high lucky hit chance, we'll be dumping stuns all over the place. And as aspect, we have concussive strikes. As I already mentioned, Leap has a high lucky hit chance, making it rather easy to make use of this one. Alright, let's take a look at the good stuff, the weapons. For Big Daddy Hammer, you'll look for this one with one exception. You definitely want the tempering to be crit damage. I fucked up, then got a maximum roll on the Dust Devils, and I'm now doomed to use this one forever. You also want Berserk Ripping here for maximum bleeds. The other aspects that you want are the elements for 15% Big Dam on average, and the Earthquake aspect for yet more Big Dam. And you'll obviously want to rock the Granddaddy, unless you're a shit newbie without Ubers. Okay, and finally, we have our jewelry, and I'm not talking about my nutsack, I'm talking about the amulet and rings. For amulet, you'll look for crit chance and heavy-handed ranks, as they are by far the most important. You should also try to get some cooldown reduction on top of that to reduce Leap cooldown further. This in turn makes this amulet kind of dog shit, which makes me sad. But considering no one subs to the channel, how could I ever afford a better one? One thing that doesn't make me sad, though, is this aspect. The devilish aspect, as it's fucking bonkers. And finally, the rings. These are pretty much as dog as it gets, but they get the job done. You should prioritize crit chance and crit damage here, along with tempering cooldown reduction for brawling skills. I'm also rocking the Bear Clan's aspect for more cooldown reduction. If you manage to get roughly my gear, then you'll leap permanently as long as this one is up when combined with the Giant Strides aspect. Well, damn friends, gear and aspects are now done. Let's see what's going on with my weapon arsenal. These may be insanely difficult to keep track of, but don't worry, Mr. Big Dick Senpai is here to hold you hand through it. Okay, first we have Leap. We set it to slashing weapon. Great job, friends. That's the weapon arsenal. And for weapon expertise, we'll grab the two-handed axe for some easy damage. All right. Do you know what time it is now? You're goddamn right. It's skill tree o'clock, and you know it, baby. The basic skills can obviously suck a dick, and same goes for the core skills. Instead, grab as many defensives as you can, along with Rallying Cry and Tactical Rallying Cry for massive resource generation. If you have any issues with survivability, then I'd also recommend dropping some damage for Martial Vigor. Just know that you're a confirmed beta cuck for doing so. We then have our brawling skills. Grab Enhanced and Power Kick to make enemies vulnerable, along with dumping all your fury for Wrath of the Berserker. Also grab Warcry along with all of these lovely passives for Big Dam and Battle Fervor to keep berserking up. I'm maxing out Warcry in this setup as I don't really want to push, but if that's what you enjoy, then you should drop some Warcry points for more defensives. We also have Leap here, which we want to max out to reduce its cooldown. Enhanced Leap resets the cooldown whenever we miss, and let's be honest here, you can barely hit the toilet, so missing leaps is inevitable. Power Leap is also our only real source of generation fury to spawn our Dust Devils. Next we go to the weapon mastery skills, which obviously suck, so we only grab all of these passives for a massive DPS increase. We then go to the ultimate skills and grab the yummy heavy-handed passive. You definitely want this on the amulet, as it's double dipping apparently. Wrath of the Berserker is also a must-have, both for a huge damage increase along with more fury generation. And finally, the key passive. This is what allows us to deal insane damage. We want to go as near as 100% crit chance as possible. To help you with this, you also have these two, Chorus of War and Elixir of Precision, granting 11% crit chance. I do, however, recommend the Holy Bolts over Precision when speed farming, unless Blizz has completely gutted it in the mid-season patch. I'll have to test to find out. Well, damn will you look at that. It's finally time for my amazing Paragon board, and you know it, my man. Let's head straight into the starting board, where we socket Wrath. We then go to the Warbringer board to fortify us, as well as grab Marshal. Here to the left, we have Hemorrhage, which we want last, of course, because we're not picking up any rare nodes. Instead, go to the Blood Rage board, try to max out this node, and pick up the Exploit Glyph. We then head on over to the Decimator board, grab it for the easy 10% damage, and Socket Twister for big damn. And finally, the Bone Breaker board. We pick this board for the yummy max life nodes right here, and also Socket Rumble. I can't stress how insanely important this glyph is. By stonking enemies with our leaps, we keep spawning earthquakes, where each one of them grants a whopping 10% massive DPS. Heck yeah, a must-have, that's for sure. All right, now it's time to get heckin' good, my friends, and start gaming. This build is probably one of the easier builds you can play. You just simply leap around like a coked-up squirrel. Whenever you fuck up your leaps, you can always use Shout to reset your cooldown. Other than that, you're using all of your buttons whenever they're up. When you got Wrath of the Berserker, you press that button real good and drop kick an enemy in the nutsack twice to gain the full damage benefit. And that's all you need to know. What do you say, friends? Is it time to revisit the Whirlwind build next now that it got massively buffed? Or what's up?